Well, hello, hello, welcome back. I'm Claire. This is Purple Poppy, and as you can see from the tray, that's not supposed to be in there. As you can see from the tray, we are on Roxy's General Stitchery, and the project for this week is trim, your most favourite treasured trim, and I thought that's perfect for this very long thin column that we've got here. So what I'm thinking, need to untangle this first of all. I should have done that before I turned the camera on, shouldn't I, really? There we go. Right, so what I was thinking was, I love this trim, and I love this trim for many reasons. It might be quite simplistic to many of you, but this is the trim that I used when I did a course and I reupholstered some dining chairs, and this was the trim that I used on it, and this is what I've got left. So there's a real memory for me there, but obviously that's way too thin. So then I thought, well, I do also love, although it's new and modern, I mean this must be at least 20 years old from when I did those chairs. I do love this modern cotton lace, so I wondered if maybe we could put that across there and we'd get a nice broad line. But this is sort of whitey cream, so you're going to lose that lace. So then I thought, all this thinking, goodness me, that if we laid the lace on the red, and then we laid the trim up there, now we've got a lovely trio. The only problem that I've got is, whilst I can cut this to size no problem, this is too wide, as you can see. So what I need to do is cut the length, which is that hole there. So I'm gonna cut the length that I require. We'll obviously save that for another day. So that's now our length. But then what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut off this edge of holes, and also it'll give us a bit of a ruffle like we've got the other side. So I'm just going to cut down the middle of these. Also, that's a lovely little scrappy piece to use for something else. You see, now we've got that sort of same pattern. Okay, that should now lay in there all but perfectly. Yep, so we just need, we'll keep that, look how pretty that is, keep that for something else. We're going to cut off our length from here. It's a bit crinkly, that edge. Let's try the other end. Is the other end a bit straighter? No, not really, but anyway. Let's cut that crinkly bit off. It's a little bit flatter now. Sorry, you got my head, haven't you? So we'll cut that there. So yeah, that goes with that. Get rid of that, and now we need to work out this. So I'm going to tear off that folded seam edge. And again, we are going to tear across there, and now we need to look at our width. And tear that down there. So I'm hoping that that is now a good size to go in there. I'm going to need to turn this round that way so that I can see what I'm doing. It's marginally wide, so I'm just going to try and tear a slither off of this side. Yeah, I didn't really think that was going to work too well, so we'll try from the other side as well. Trouble is, the narrower it is, the harder obviously it is to tear. I like the rough edges. I'm feeling I'm going to have to get the hoover on this at some point. Suck out all these little bits of threads. That fits in there lovely. And then we've got our lace bit going on top, like so. And then we've got our treasured piece on the middle. And I think that sits beautifully with our colourway, doesn't it? So, what I'm going to do is move the box, because we don't need that. And we're just going to work on these. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little bit of stick glue just to hold it where I want it. And then I'm going to stitch through. So you can see all the patterning now with that. And then this one I've got on my messing mat. And I just again run a little bit of glue down there. Pop that across the middle. And then just where it's starting to fray there, and just trim those bits off. Okay, so needle and thread. Now the clever thing to do would be to try and recreate another line of this decorative stitch. The only trouble with that is it's then going to change it, and it's not going to be the design that I had, that I love. So do I want to, I'm trying to find a needle here. Let's look at the state of this. Right, this is some white thread. Do I want to do invisible stitches so that's all we will see, or do I want to do maybe a little stitch across each or every other one of them knots? Decisions. What am I going to do? I'm sure you're shouting at ideas at the camera. Right, well, let's start. We're not going to thread that needle, are we? Because we all know how blind I am. So let's pull that one out. It's almost as bad, actually. But anyway, let's thread up this needle and maybe look at trying to do some invisible stitching. The fan's on, so it's blowing the thread around. Now I am, as always, filming ahead. It's... Where's the needle gone? Do you know, I spend my life hunting for needles. I just had it, didn't I? Can you see it? Where's it gone? Oh. Come on, Claire. Get a life. Okay. We'll use this one. I know this is not the one that I just had, because this has got an oval eye and the other one had a round eye. But we'll find it when I turn the camera off. I'm sure we will. As always, I'm filming ahead today is actually Thursday, so I wouldn't be surprised if we get a knock on the door from the postman. So little tiny invisible stitches, I think, is what we're going for on the angle, because I don't want to change the design. So just standard stitches, nothing particularly decorative. The decoration is in the 3 layers. So how are you all? What have you all been up to? Not much to tell really. Obviously I'm very happy with the weather change because I don't do heat, as you know. Boo's also very happy because she's getting proper night's sleep in. In fact, days as well. She's sound asleep in the armchair now. So we're all getting some sleep, which is awesome. In fact, I slept last night like forever. I'm normally up at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. I think I've mentioned this before. But this morning I woke up at 2 minutes to 8. Can you believe that? Admittedly, I didn't go to bed till midnight, but even so, that's awesome. Never sleep like that. And yet, I don't feel the need to do a energetic Irish jig or anything like that. I just feel the same really as ever. So I don't know if anybody knows the Patrick Swayze film Roadhouse. It always makes me laugh. There's a scene in there where Sam Elliott, I think his name is, yes, definitely, Sam Elliott, he makes a comment about I'm going to get all the sleep I need when I'm dead. Yeah, I often think like that. There we go. So that stitched that. It didn't take long at all. So because that technically makes this a super short video, I wanted to share something with you today that dawned on me, I think it was yesterday. So let's just get this stuck in and I'll show you what I mean. So that's that done. Poke that in there, get rid of that, bring this back. Now we're going in this one here. You can see that, can't you? Yeah. So we're going in that one there. I've got this Elmer's natural ingredient school glue. Now I couldn't get any more of these this week, which disappointed me, but I did get this one, and I'm deciding that this one, although I didn't do it up and seal that hole last night, which was a bit silly, this one is almost as good. So give it a blow, make sure there's no dust or anything in there, and then I'm just going to squirt of it in there. We will do the lid up this time. Find a paintbrush. This is what I always do, isn't it? And we will pop this so that I can see it. We'll pop this down in there. So that's another of our cavities filled. Turn it up the right way. Here we go. there's another one of our cavities filled. I did think I was going to struggle to fill that long thin one. Sorry, I'm just blowing the bits of thread out. This one is also going to be a bit of an issue, isn't it? But it's coming on nicely. Okay, so the other day I was looking on Pinterest to find a new stitch idea or pattern or whatever. And I come across both of these. I come across this one first, and I thought, I love that. I love the primitive feel of it. This type of writing always strikes me as primitive. And I love this little bird, and it was obviously sort of hand drawn. And I thought, I love it. And it reminded me a little bit of the work of Jessica Trawley. So I thought, yeah, I might have a go at that. And then I found this one. And I thought, I've seen that bird before. I've seen this style of writing before. And I opened it up. And if you look at them both, you can see these are obviously by the same person, because we've got exactly the same bird. We've got this same sort of kite wheel. And we've got the same style of writing. And they've both got buttons on. And I thought, do you know what? That is actually very clever, because without signing this, this has been signed. Because, again, like Jessica Trawley, she always has that bow in her work. Well, by always putting in this same bird and this same kite wheel, you sign this without realising it. And I thought, do you know what? You're all doing wonderful work. Lots of us put it onto the internet, and it's about time we considered signing it. So I have actually traced these two pictures just because I love them. And what I thought was, you see that's the cartwheel there, and this is where the other one would be here. And obviously I want to make this my own. That's where the cartwheel would be, isn't it? There. The same as that one. Obviously I want to make it my own. And I mean, I have traced the picture, so at the moment it's not my own at all. It's hers. But I thought what I would do, and I've just obviously pinned it to some wadding, is to make it mine, I'm going to always put fabric where that is. She has got a heart, but I love hearts. I often put hearts in my work. So I'm also going to make sure that I do a fabric heart. So in all of my pieces, I'm now going to do a fabric heart and a fabric swatch. And that is how I'm going to sign my work. So I just thought I'd mention that to you. It might be something you like to, you know, consider. So I was having a little hunt around, and I think I will always add a piece of lace. So I was having a hunt around, and I found this top. Now, I've not worn this top in I don't know how many years. I believe, yeah, it's a Joe Brown. It's a beautiful colour. So I am going to start with this. This is definitely my kind of colour. So I'm just going to rip that up there. There you go. The top is gone. We are going to repurpose it. That is more than enough. So I'm going to break that out. I've also got, which I've just acquired from a charity shop, this beautiful, beautiful applique. Look at that. Now it's really too big for what we're doing here, But if you look closely, we take a lesson out of Corinne's book. That's a little bit that we could pull out, as is that bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make my first splice into this as well. And look, there's a little tiny flower there. So we're going to take our first snip at this. Actually, we need the big scissors for this. So these are not as cheap as they were when I very first started filming and sharing charity shop finds with you. I was paying £2 and £3 for these. They've now crept, like everything else, up to £5. But to me, that's still a bargain, because if you was to buy this applique, especially this much, I mean, this is only a small dress. I think it's a size 12 or something, so there's less in here than obviously if it was a big size. However, there are still, look, yards and yards of it. The inside layer I will probably not use because it's some kind of stretchy nastiness, but this is awesome. So we are first of all going to iron this piece. Oh, we're going to be here for a while today, aren't we? That's because we did that quick stitching and gluing. So let's bring my little ironing mat up and the iron. Whoops. Let's get rid of these threads. Let's turn the iron on. And I'm expecting the postman because I've got a parcel to go. I had an order from my day job, so I've had to make a large batch of shampoo and conditioner. So that's what the postman is coming to collect. Okay, so we need this big heart and this small heart. So I think poetic license, I'm going to fold this in half. And these little scissors are big little scissors, and we're going to cut ourselves a heart. There we go. Now it's much fatter than that one, so we're going to need to make it a bit smaller. There we go. What does that look like? Again, it's fatter and shorter, but there's your poetic license, if you like. So we've got our heart there, and then we need a little tiny one for there. So, little tiny one. There we go. And that's that one to go on there. So there are 2 hearts, and then we need 2 squares. So I'm going to fold that in half, cut 2 at once, try and get the pink in shears, and literally just and we've got that one to go there. That one needs to be smaller. That one goes there. Turn the iron off. We don't want to go burning ourselves, do we? We'll get rid of the iron behind me so we're safe. Right, now I want to look at this. Whoops. So, first of all, definitely want this piece here. So, yeah, I haven't got another one of those, have I? I've only got the one on here that we've cut. I'm wondering if that bit actually goes down there on that one, because here we've got this lovely sort of just golden leaf, and then I'm going to have this one out of this side. Where's it gone? There. And that can sit there, and then we just move our heart over a little bit. There you go. I haven't got another one of them roses, have I? No, that's what I keep looking at. I think the one there is fine. So we can get rid of that. Bring this closer. Bring up our buttons. Now, she's put buttons in the house and buttons down the side here. Now, I'm not going to do that. What I think I'm going to do is, because we're looking at creating signatures, you know, and how you make it your own, as it were, and, you know, totally recognisable as yours, I'm going to put my button on my square. Need a bigger one. I'll put that one on there. That's better. So we need a clear or a white button. There we go. You see? And to me, those 4 elements, the button on the square, the little bit of lace, and the heart, sorry, 3 elements, they make it unique to me. So that is what I'm going to do. So we're going to move all this away, and we're going to start to do some stitching. So we've got the white thread in here, so I'm just going to sew these buttons on first of all so they don't disappear. Whoops, that knot's not big enough. We need a bigger knot. Oh no, I've pulled the cotton out. It's not happening, is it? Oh my goodness. These things are sent to try us and try us. They will. Right, I should have just got a new bit of thread from the beginning probably, but waste not, want not. Right, there we go. And spin that round because I want it to be more in the centre. And obviously I'm trying not to pick it up because I don't want all the other pieces to move. Right, so that's held the button on. We can put some heavier stitch with a bright colour or something later on. So that one's on there. Now I want to get this one on here, but I've just realised that's not very square. It's more of a wonky rectangle. So put that on there. And where was the rest of that white thread? Here. I'm going to have to hunt out that needle as well. I'd almost forgotten. I've lost a needle on it somewhere before I stab myself with it. There we go. Through there. So, my message to you, if you like, today is, oh, why can't I find the button hole? There you go. My message today, message to you today, goodness me, if you like, is sign your work. If for some reason you don't want to put your actual name on it because you don't like stitching words, or you haven't got any of those like laundry labels that you can have modern versions of printed very easily now, then do something like this. Put something in your work, put it in every piece, and then people will pick it up as being yours. Even if they don't know your name, they will pick it up as being by the same designer every time. Right, so I think I've held up enough of your time today. I am going to let you go now, and Bo is wanting some lunch, so I'm going to go and feed her. So as always, I would say thank you so much for spending time with me today. Hope you've had some fun, maybe found some inspiration. Stay safe. I'll see you very soon. Bye bye for now.